to our members. If you guys need any of that kind of assistance, I'm urging you to approach them and see if they can assist you with your OSH needs as well. So I'd like to introduce Addie. Addie is the marketing manager and client rep at 4H Consulting. And he will lead the session and he will be guiding you throughout the presentation. And he'll also be introducing the speakers to you. Of course, today we have a WSIB speaker, which I think is really important for all of you to hear firsthand directly from WSIB. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Addie.
Thank you very much, Kathy. It's a pleasure as usual partnering with ECAO and your wonderful members who keep attending our seminars one after the other. Thank you very much. Without any further ado, let me actually quickly introduce you to the two speakers that will be presenting today. And just a quick note before that, just to add to Kathy's point about questions in the comment box. It's a very good thing. People can use the comment box, but in case you really have a pressing question during a particular slide and you want to ask, you can interrupt and get your question through, but we'll have a 15-minute question and answer window right at the end. So there's ample time for you to ask questions. We'll take as many possible questions as we can. So today, in the speakers column, we have Denise Chai-Tong from WSIB. Denise is a program consultant for health and safety excellence for WSIB. And I'd like to really thank Denise for coming and supporting us. And WSIB has done a phenomenal job in supporting us, especially employers during the COVID-19 pandemic by coming up with various ways in which you can address COVID-19 through the program, which Denise will be talking more about. And then we have our program head for 4S. 4S is a WSIB-approved provider for the Safety Excellence Program. So the program for 4S is called For Safety Excellence, which is headed by Myron. So Myron will also be speaking on how we support our clients and what's the model and how we can help you get your rebates if you're looking for rebates in November 2020 or in May 2021. So without any further ado, let me quickly introduce you to Denise. Denise has more than 25 years of experience with the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board in occupational health and safety, case management, disability management, and privacy, and loads of experience with regards to the Excellence Program. So Denise, without any further ado, can you please take over from here and tell the participants what the Excellence Program is and how it's going to help people with COVID-19 issues?
Okay, thank you very much, Addie. Well, hello, everyone. It's here. Oh, sorry. Yes, I just want to say thanks again, Addie, and hello to everyone that's on the webinar. And I'm delighted to be here with you all virtually through this webinar. I'm really actually happy to share this program with you. With COVID-19, with the pandemic, I'm sure everyone has experienced a great deal of uncertainty in their personal lives and also with businesses as well, in terms of how they'll operate in the foreseeable future. It's unprecedented what's happening right now as well, and it took us all by surprise, relatively. So we can all agree that every business in Ontario must be diligent to ensure that their workplaces are healthy and safe for their employees and also the public, because you also want return business. So you have to be healthy and safe for both your employees and the public, and taking into consideration the new measures to control the spread of COVID-19. So the WSIB is here to help you create the healthiest and safest workplaces possible, whether you're just getting started to respond to COVID-19 because it's taken us by surprise, or you already have a program in place and you want to further improve it and mitigate any further unforeseen circumstances. So the program provides a clear roadmap for you to improve your health and safety in your workplace. So what this webinar does, it provides you with information how the Health and Safety Excellence Program can help your company develop and implement needed health and safety programs while earning financial rebates through us based upon your premiums, and also positive public recognition. So that'd be a non-financial recognition through badges and such to show your commitment through health and safety. And never underestimate that piece. That's an excellent piece to show not only your employees, but external parties, people that you deal with as well. So the government of Ontario released some guidelines to protect workers, customers, the general public from COVID-19 as it prepares for a gradual reopening of the economy. And we've already started, and there are various phases that are rolling out right now. So these guidelines are available for different industry sectors, such as for the electrical contractors. They've got their own guidelines as well. And it was developed in partnership with the Ministry of Labor and the Health and Safety Associations. So at the end of my little short presentation, I'll provide you with some links to some of the resources for you. And some of the protective measures are examples of curbside pickup, physical distancing, which everyone I'm sure is aware of, washing your hands, wearing masks, and allowing training employees on how COVID-19 is transmitted, and screening workers for health issues. And I know a lot of employers have started down that road as well. Okay, next slide, thanks. So the program is here to help you implement these guidelines. There are basically 36 health and safety topics in the program, and they help you navigate through the pandemic to build a more resilient and sustainable business. Specifically, there are actually 5 topics from the 36 that actually address the priorities outlined in the Ontario government's industry-specific safety guidelines. So you already have to deal with COVID right now, COVID-19. So why not get rewarded or some sort of recognition for the work that you're doing? You have to do it anyway. So at least get some sort of recognition for the hard work you're putting in to address keeping your employees safe and the public. So aside from the financial rebate, you can also receive recognition badges to use on your website, your email signature, marketing materials, just to show others, your employees and the public, how committed you are to health and safety. So it's important for all employers to reopen their businesses to show that they value everyone's health and safety. It's not that you have to do, but you really value everyone's health. You care about them, and that's a big part as well. So the recognition badges will show up on your business profile, so the public can see it. So if it's on, I'm not sure if you're aware of Compass, but we've got a tool called Compass, and sometimes job seekers, other employers or clients will search your health and safety stats or other stats through Compass, which is on our system, and they will show a badge that you've joined the program and that you're committed to health and safety. It's almost like when you have that ISO 9001 banner that's flying outside a business or on the side of a business. It shows your commitment to something, whether it's quality, health and safety, and that's a good measure. So, and the fourth way that the program can help. Oh, sorry, Addie, the previous slide. Thank you. I'm yakking too much, I guess. You can also receive a rebate on your WSIB premiums for each health and safety topic that you complete, including any topics that you address COVID-19. And I encourage you to choose those topics. You don't have to, but it's a great time to do so now. You'll also receive COVID-19 related tools and resources from your provider, 4S, to develop policies and procedures to address the government's safety guidelines. So these guidelines are sector specific, and they will help you and your workers better understand how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And lastly, the program has flexibility built into it, so you can join anytime. It's not, well, I got to join at this time, I've missed it. It's when it's best for you and when you have the time to sit down and look at when you can join. So it's very flexible that way. And in terms of the topics that you choose, it's ones that will benefit your business. So the program can help you reopen your business with confidence to adjust to the physical distancing restrictions. And this is just a brief overview of the Excellence Program topics that can help you follow the government's safety guidelines on COVID-19. So you'll notice that the topics, so you'll notice topics flow from one focus to another, and it's helpful for implementing in your workplace, evidence submission for rebates and recognition. So the first topic is that you might want to consider is risk assessment. So are you aware, are you and your teams aware of the hazards in your workplace and how to control the spread of COVID-19? So this topic, the risk assessment topic, it helps businesses identify existing and new workplace hazards. For example, it could be some people that work exclusively at home, or you've retooled your operations to transition going back to work. So we can help you identify and assess any new hazards in these working conditions, because it's something new to us. It's a new scenario. And it's vital for businesses to identify workplace hazards now to ensure the safety of your workplace and the public. Another topic could be control of hazards. and that could be specifically to COVID-19. That could be a topic onto itself. So this helps reorganize your workplace to remain safe and help control the spread of COVID-19 through implementing engineering controls such as plexiglass panels, administrative controls, possibly staggering schedules, safe work practices like increased hygiene, sanitation measures, washing your hands for at least 20 seconds, and PPE such as wearing masks and gloves, which a lot of people have started to do. A third topic is emergency prevention and preparedness. And perhaps this topic, perhaps you have a topic in place, but it also needs updating to ensure your organization is to address any new challenges resulting from COVID-19 or any future pandemics, and remain ready for any new ones that come into the future as well. So this is one topic you could revisit and incorporate that. And emergency response. So it corresponds to the emergency prevention and preparedness. So it defines a detailed work plan to address COVID-19 and control the spread of the virus and safely resume your business operations, which is where a lot of businesses are sort of in the primary stages or about to head into that stage right now. And last one is workplace health promotion. So right now, so many businesses are planning for and trying to configure physical distancing operations in workspaces. And a lot of staffs are worried about the future, what their regular workday will look like when they go back to work in a pandemic. So if you want to attract and retain good people, they have to feel safe at work, and so do your clients as well, your customers. So it's important to remember that how safe your employees feel will impact your business and their work. So empower your staff and support your employee mental health through the pandemic. Thank you. Next slide. So for the next steps, right now the pandemic, COVID-19, has definitely changed the way business will operate in the future. So the program, the Health and Safety Excellence Program, currently has about, I think it's 1,574, I think it's around that, employers right now working on getting their business operations ready and working through the pandemic and creating a roadmap to improve their health and safety in the workplace. So once again, as I said, if you're just getting started right now with health and safety or just trying to tackle COVID-19, or you already have something in place, the program fits everyone. It's great for small, medium, large size businesses or wherever you are on the health and safety continuum. So right now, they're also between March and around right now, there are about 268 businesses that have enrolled since the pandemic. So that's quite a bit. We were actually surprised. So a lot of people are trying to address COVID-19 right now, and they've rushed and said, yes, I need to get in. I need, great to get assistance, and even the rebates, considering we have to work on it anyway. So since that time, 268 have registered for that. So if you're in need of help to improve your health and safety program, or would like to further move ahead with COVID-19, or you already have something in place, please contact 4S or visit. You can visit our webpage as well. Next slide. The previous slide had just mentioned just some resources that's offered. I'd mentioned from the start that they have some links. There they are. So these are just some links and to the resources and supports that can assist you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Denise, for your time and that lovely description of how WSIB is actually helping employers during a very critical phase that the whole world is facing. So thanks a lot. And with this, let's now move to the next speaker. So at this point in time, if anyone has any questions, please use the chat box, the message box, to just put in your questions there, and we'll take as many questions as we can later on. So as Denise mentioned, 4S is a WSIB-approved provider for the Health and Safety Excellence Program. So we call it the 4 Safety Excellence Program, and it's headed by Myron, and he runs the show along with Abhishek, who is the coordinator for the 4 Safety Excellence Program. So without any further ado, can I please welcome Myron to take over from here and explain to everyone how we help our clients and how we plan to help ECAO members with the Excellence Program. Myron.
Thank you very much, Adi. Thank you very much, Denise, for that information from the WSIB's perspective. I do apologize to anyone if you hear a loud buzzing in the background. There's some construction happening on my street, and unfortunately, I can't find a way to mute it. But hopefully, you guys can hear me above that. So, in talking about the Excellence Program, there's really 4 steps. So the first step is really join the program through an approved provider. So as we mentioned, 4S is an approved provider for this program. Develop your action plan. If you want to participate in this year's program and get a November 2020 rebate, the action plan is already relatively defined. I'll talk a bit more about that as we go through the slides. If you want to participate more for 2021, you can still do COVID topics, but then there's a bit more flexibility in your action plan. Submitting documentation. So there is an application and submission process for this program. We're very familiar with it, and we can walk you through it. And then finally, the last step is once your application has been reviewed, you can earn rebates as well as non-financial recognition, which help you identify yourselves amongst your partners. So in terms of the join step, what you do is you go on the WSIB website and you find an approved provider. So as I mentioned, 4S is an approved provider, and you can register with us for the program. Then if you go to the next slide, Adi, we'll have a group session. So because this is a very industry-specific group, essentially electric contractors, what we'll do is we can actually develop a custom group just for this, just for you guys, essentially, and all of you can be members of the group. And that may be an easy, streamlined way of you guys going through the program over the next few months with us. What we're going to do is then complete your topic assessment and pick your 5 topics. So as Denise mentioned earlier, really, if you are planning to be part of this 2020 program, the 5 topics are essentially already defined. So that's something to keep in mind. And then we will develop your action plan with our help, essentially. Adi, next slide, please. With regards to the submit process, there's a self-validation on the 4SafeCom site where we review your materials, and then we submit the program documents to the WSIB. As I mentioned, we're very familiar with this process, and the way we've designed our process is to imitate the WSIB's. So it's very streamlined. You're not going to be doing anything twice, and you're not going to be required to have more information than you need or less information than you need. We've designed the process to fit the submission process well. And what's the goal of the validation? I just go back quickly. The whole concept that's very important to the WSIB is to show that the topic is living and breathing at the workplace. So we really have to create the narrative around that, okay? Then with regards to the rebates you can earn, it's a relatively complicated rebate formula, but we have companies earning from $5,000 all the way up to $250,000 in our client portfolio. We do have a rebate calculator that with the distribution of this webinar after this meeting, we'll also send you the rebate calculator. What you do there is you just enter in your 2019 WSIB premium, and it'll tell you exactly what your rebate is. Essentially, the higher your premium, the higher your rebate is a good way of looking at it. Next slide, please. So now a bit about 4S. We really are a 360 comprehensive health and safety company. We provide 3 main services. One is occupational health and safety training. Some of you may have taken advantage of our training. We also provide consulting support for specific certifications or just standalone consulting support. So we're very well known for our core and ISO support for those certifications. And also we provide an online technology system to help you manage your health and safety program. Okay, so when you combine all those 3 elements together, what you really get is a sustainable OHS program, essentially. We've been around for over 15 years. We have over 500,000 users on our online system, and we have over 750 full service customers. And we have tons of customers in the construction, electrical contractor, mechanical contractor space. So we're very familiar with your industry. Now, with regards to the Force Advantage, as I mentioned, our plan is to essentially set up a group for all of you. So it's a very streamlined process. So depending on your WSIB premium, I'm assuming almost all of you will have under $1 million in premiums. Some of you may be very large and have over $1 million. But if you're under $1 million, essentially your cost is $1,000. And as I mentioned, your rebates will range from between probably $5,000 to $250,000, depending on how large you are. So what you get with that is the topic selection assistance. As I mentioned, if we are being part of the November program, the topic selection is very limited. So really what we're going to be focusing on over the next few months is really how we get you through the topic completion process and get you to the finish line. What is going to be very important is that you guys have already started thinking about your COVID-19 preparation, prevention, and response efforts, because what that will mean is that means we can really get a head start on kind of supporting you in getting the application together. So essentially the force advantage, there's 3 really important things. One, we've now been working with this program for about 6 months, so we're very familiar now with how the application process works and how to get you to the finish line. 2, we're very familiar with your industry in terms of working with lots of customers from your industry. And 3, we are a comprehensive health and safety company. So it means that we're well covered with regards to all areas of health and safety, and there may be benefits then in working with us for other things such as training or consulting or other technology options that you may need. Adi, next slide, please. This really isn't important to them. As I've mentioned, what we're planning to do is create another new group, essentially. So right now, these are our current groups that we're running for the program. Our plan for you would be to create an electrical contractor association group, essentially. Next slide, please, Adi. So in terms of the timeline, if you are planning to target the November 2020 rebate, this is very important. What we need to show is that we've started your COVID planning process already. Select essentially the 5 topics and enroll immediately. There's a very time-sensitive element to this. If you want to participate in the November 2020 rebate, the materials to the WSIB have to be submitted to them by April 1st, 2020. So in essentially 2 months plus a week, essentially. So what that means is if we want to make sure that the materials are complete and they're where they need to be to get the rebate, then we need to bake in some internal review time on the 4S perspective. So that means we really need the materials kind of assembled by mid-July, essentially. That's why I'm saying there is a benefit to working with us, is because we've developed a streamlined application process that should get you guys to that finish line. Now, of course, if you prefer to wait until the next year, which we're estimating to be the May 2021 rebate, that's fine too. That means you do have more flexibility in terms of how you choose to participate, and you do have more flexibility in which topics you select. But if you do want to take advantage of the November 2020 rebate, there really is some urgency to enroll as soon as possible. As we mentioned, there's really a 2-month work window. And so what we're really hoping is that you demonstrate that you've already started your COVID-19 planning process so that we get a fast start versus a slow start, essentially. That's really what I want to stress. There is some urgency associated with getting the November 2020 rebate. We do need an enrollment very soon, essentially within the next few days. Adi, please go to the next slide, please. For those of you who haven't really worked with us on the technology side, we do have ForSafeCom. It's a fully comprehensive health and safety software program, and we are leveraging it for the Excellence Program. So when you join the Excellence Program, you do get access to it, and that's how we manage the program. It's much more easier with regards to document storage and posting, and it also allows us, it really enables our review process to be much faster versus using emails and going back and forth. So there is the advantage of working with us because you get to use the ForSafeCom program, and we will set you up with a login that's secure, and you'll have your own individual customized folder in there, and that's how we will work with you and correspond with you. And that's really it in terms of the program. I do know that some of you are in a rush, so hopefully we were able to finish it within your required time period. We will be available to answer any questions. The things that really needed to be stressed today during this webinar, hopefully the key messages that hopefully you pick up on are that, one, if you're planning to do COVID-19 topics and you want to get the November 2020 rebate, you really need to enroll very quickly, and there's a lot of urgency associated with this. And the 5 topics, as Denise mentioned, are already somewhat predefined as those 5 topics. If you do want to take your time and have more flexibility, then that's fine as well. We can also support you in that endeavor, and then there is more flexibility with the topics you pick, okay, and the things you can do.
Thank you very much, Myron. That was a very clear presentation, and Myron hit the nail on the head. November 2020 has very less flexibility in terms of topics, so do get in touch with us after the webinar if you're interested, and we will be sharing a link and everything with you. So quickly, I'd like to thank every participant today for joining this webinar at such a short notice, and it really clearly shows me and tells me and 4S your commitment to health and safety, and kudos to you guys coming here today, gaining the information. Thank you very much, Kathy. You're a superstar as usual for setting all this up. Without your help, this wouldn't have been possible. Thank you very much, WSIB. Denise, you were absolutely brilliant. Thanks a lot for always supporting us with our initiative for health and safety excellence. And before we get into the question and answer session, I'd like to quickly talk about a webinar we are doing tomorrow. Any business owners and leadership or senior managers here or supervisors, it'll be a webinar on getting back to work. So are you ready to get back to work? What do you require to get back to work safely? Do you have the COVID monitoring tools in place? And do you have some trainings in place? What are some nice checkpoints that you need to be aware of? It's a very informative webinar. It's a 1-hour webinar from 12:30 to 1:30. It's a free complimentary webinar, so there'll be no charge. So I'll send you guys an email, everyone who's registered today. So please do feel free if you have the time. It'll be a very valuable use of your time. You'll get a lot of information. So that's one thing I would like to bring to your notice. And with that, I'd like to open this webinar to the question and answer session. And we have 22 participants. Let me quickly check if there are any questions already in the chat box. So if you have any questions, this is the time to ask. We have WSIB here. We have our 4S program head, Myron, here. So Denise and Myron will be more than happy to answer your questions, and Kathy can always jump in and help us moderate the thing for you. So I do not see any questions here.
Adi? Do you mind? Actually, I can provide actually some more information actually, which might be useful. If you can go back to the WSIB slides with the 5 programs and with the 5 topics. So I will actually I will be able to explain how you can get a running start with the program. Keep going back, please, to the WSIB slides.
So while we're doing this, we are waiting for
right here. Perfect. One more. The table. No, the table, please. Keep going. This one. Perfect. So as Denise mentioned, what the WSIB has advised is the 5 topics that most closely align with COVID-19. There's 36 topics in the Excellence Program, but there's 5 that really make sense for COVID-19. So the 5 are risk assessment, control of hazards, emergency prevention and preparedness, emergency response, and workplace health promotion. So risk assessment to be eligible for the program is all about if you already have an existing risk registry. What you want to do is update that risk registry with the specific COVID-19 health and safety risks. So that could be from how you either have new or modified operations, or if you now have changed your work locations, if you're moving more people to working at home. So if you've started already looking at some of those things, that's a great way of getting a running start on that topic. For control of hazards, it's very much about how you plan to stop the spread of COVID-19 in your workplace and through your employees if they're working at home. So things like engineering controls, admin controls, and safe work practices, such as hygiene and sanitation, PPE, distancing, screening, all of those things can be applied. So if you're doing any of those things, that's all eligible material for that topic. For emergency prevention and preparedness, what you want to do is, if you already have an emergency prevention and preparedness plan, what you want to do is show how you're adding COVID to that plan. So what that means is it can really fit with any kind of activities you're doing to prevent against COVID from spreading in your workplace. So for example, what is your reporting plan? Or what is your incident tracking plan? Or where are you going to have your emergency numbers stored, or whatever it is for COVID, okay? Then on the emergency response, the key thing then is everyone has an emergency response plan for fire or for bomb or for gas explosion or whatever it happens to be. So what the WSIB has said is now if you've started to think about how you're going to update your emergency response plan for COVID. So for example, if someone does have COVID-19 in the office, how are you going to respond to that scenario? What guidance are you going to give that employee? What reassurance and communication are you going to give to your other employees and customers and visitors? How are you going to sanitize the workplace? If you're already thinking about some of those things, then that's a very good topic to take because it gives you a running start. That's essentially exactly what that topic is. And then finally, workplace health promotion. The big thing there is really anxiety and stress. So anyone going to work through the pandemic, all of you know, all of you are working essentially. There's a huge amount of additional stress and anxiety that workers endure. So if your organization is currently doing things to alleviate mental health, be it having a support hotline or a resource webpage, or having access to telehealth providers or mental health education or whatever it is, all of those things qualify as material under workplace health promotion. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of if you are planning to apply to the November 2020 rebate, these are some of the things you already have to have started thinking about. And then our goal really over the next couple months, if you are planning to apply for the November 2020 rebate, is really get you guys to that finish line with regards to that documentation and showing that proof to the WSIB. So hopefully that helps a bit in terms of understanding a bit more about what the next 2 months could look like if you do choose to do this. Now, of course, you are more than welcome to participate in the May 2021 rebate, and that gives you more time. You don't necessarily have to just do these 5 topics. You'll have more flexibility to do other things as well. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you very much, Myron. It's a very good idea to recap on the 5 topics given the relevance and the short timeline. We are now, the clock now shows it's 1:40, so we have another 20 minutes. So we are right here. WSIB is here, Denise is here, 4S is here, Kathy is here. So if you want to know more about anything, if you have any queries or questions regarding the program or participation, please feel free to ask us. Either put in your question in the chat or you can ask us your question. Kathy, would you like to say something?
Well, thank you. Thanks to all 3 of you for your presentation. I think that since we don't have any questions during the webinar, you're going to be sending out the recording and giving them information on the webinar tomorrow. So if they have any other questions, they can ask you at that time as well. They have your contact information. So, you know, my recommendation would be to thank you and probably close the webinar now.
Okay, so do you think we can wait for maybe another 5 minutes and stop it at 1:45?
Sure, but I think that if people had questions, they probably would have asked.
No worries. So I'll take your point then, and with that, given that we don't have any questions coming in right now, so we are recording this webinar as Kathy mentioned at the beginning. So we will be providing everyone a copy of the link. We'll be publishing this, and you'll be seeing the video. So it'll be a very good ready reference tool for everyone. And other than that, we'll also be providing you with a link today after this webinar is done. For tomorrow's webinar, it'll be good to see some of you business owners, supervisors, and senior managers to attend the webinar if you can, because that's a good way for you to know what do you require to get started in a safe manner and keep your workers safe. So it's a complimentary webinar. So that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time today. It's been a pleasure as usual. Have a great day and stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.